Greetings, hello, and welcome to Wolfpack. Wolfpack is a multiplayer U-boat simulator set during the Second World War. We will be playing as naughty Germans harassing convoys as they try to bring supplies to Allied forces. The learning curve on this game is steep and requires a lot of solid communication between your crewmates. You can have up to 5 crewmates per U-boat and 4 U-boats in total for each map. That's up to 20 players potentially working together to bring down big convoys. Today, however, I'll just be playing with non-inspirational gaming, so just the two of us operating this huge sub, and we'll be taking on a convoy without destroyers. There are, however, weapons mounted on the transport ships, so it's still definitely a challenge. Anyway, let's dive into it. Excuse the pun. They tend to leak out a bit. Let's go! Bay of biscuits.
Oh yeah. Legit.
Alright. Here we go. G'day.
G'day.
First things first, we'll be checking the horizon for any ships. Each map is randomized, so we have no idea what we're going to come across. Our only objective is to sink 15,000 tons of enemy ships.
Yeah. No, nothing out there.
Nothing? Alright, let's take a dip and have a listen. After scouting the horizon, we saw no ships, so we prepared for a dive. The hydrophone can be used to detect ships beyond visible range. As we can't have waves crashing up against the sensors, we need to go underwater so we can listen carefully for those engines in the distance. Non-prepped the helm, switching us from diesel engines to electric engines. You do not want to be underwater with diesel engines, you'll die quite quickly. While I flooded the ballast tanks and prepared the negative pressure tank.
Gotta wait for the toilet to stop flushing. That's what it sounds like.
Doesn't it? Ring-a-ling-ding-ding.
We're diving.
Non monitored the depth gauges while I adjusted the pressure accordingly so we didn't sink down too deep. We wanted to get to periscope level.
Approaching 10 meters now. And... okay, ease off. There's 0.
After a lot of trial and error, we found that about 0.05 of water remaining in the negative pressure tank, we were able to maintain a relatively stable depth.
I'll keep this under control and try and keep us under.
I then stepped onto the hydrophone to have a listen and pinpoint where these ships were. Oh. Not too far out, 260 actual north.
Okay.
Actual degrees. Yep, 260, so we're going to have to chuck a starboard turn. After pinpointing the ships, I hopped on the helm and adjusted our direction. We then prepped to surface again and head towards our targets at full speed.
Okay, going to full power. Diesel engines.
Roger. Aye. Now we just had to wait to spot ships on the horizon. Well, we should be rocketing towards them.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it!
Huh?
I see a ship, perpendicular to us. Like... just to the right.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Alright, so that
grey foggy thing.
Yeah, yep. Now that we're in visible range of the targets, we can begin identifying each of the ships through the recognition manual. As we drew nearer, 3 more ships popped onto the horizon, giving us a total convoy of 4. We guessed that it was a medium tanker type 59. Identifying the ships will allow us to know the mast height, the ship length, and the overall mass. By knowing these values, we'll be able to gauge the distance, speed, and which target will give us the greatest score towards our objective. The big one in the middle looked the most appealing, so we decided to go for that one first. We prepared to dive to periscope depth as we were getting quite close. Now to begin the calculations. Alrighty. Fluids are
dive in.
on.
Approaching 10 meters fast. 11 meters. Okay, 0.
I'll cover the basics on how we set the torpedo calculator in this video. However, I highly recommend that you check out Gamestach's video covering how to fire these stupid torpedoes in the right direction. It is super duper difficult and takes a lot of guesswork. However, it is possible and super satisfying to land that hit. The first values we recorded was the speed of the ship. With the U-boat at a complete stop, you line up the periscope's crosshairs right on the front of the ship, hold it perfectly still, and start the timer. Let the crosshair glide the whole way across the ship, and then stop it when it reaches the end. So it took 45 seconds for the entire length of the ship of 124 meters to pass the scope. So if we divide 124 by 45, we get 2.75 recurring meters per second. We then multiply that number by 2 to get our speed in knots. 5.5 knots.
Okay. You want to just try and... How far out are they, roughly? Do you know?
I can work that out now, I suppose. It is possible to calculate the range by taking the mast height and dividing that number by the amount of centiradians you can count on the left-hand side of your scope. Though this method is quite accurate, I found it to be much more efficient to use the distance table provided in the guide. We know that the mast is 42 meters tall and 5 centiradians high in our zoomed scope. 34?
You want to have a crack at them while we're stationary?
Could do. The last piece of information that we need for the torpedo computer is the angle to bow. It's pretty confusing. It took me a little while to get the hang of how it worked, but you basically need to guess the angle that the target is facing in relation to you. So this ship is heading perpendicular-ish to our current heading. We have a nice broadside shot, but it looks like it's facing slightly away. We are on the target's right-hand side, and it's facing slightly off from a perfect 90-degree angle. So let's enter all of these values into the torpedo computer. The target speed is 5.5. We'll set the torpedo depth to 3.5. The range is about 33-34 hectometers away. The length of the target ship is about 120 meters, and the angle on bow is just over 90 degrees. We'll also be using our attack periscope to launch the torpedo, and Captain Non will line up our next shot.
Fire when ready.
Oh, here we go. Ugh.
You ready? 3 ready?
Yep.
4 ready?
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
The torpedo computer estimated about 3 minutes until impact. Now it's the time to wait.
Did you go for the front one as well, or not? Or just the
No.
back ones? Okay.
Just the middle big one and the rear one. We got 1, 2. Yep, the 3 little ships definitely have guns on them. So. Oh my God! It's a hit!
You got one.
Yes! What about the other one? I think that one's going faster, so I don't think that'll hit.
Yeah, not if it's moved, unless it hits that back one for some unknown reason.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we hit it! Yes! We are too good. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed that peek into Wolfpack. This was an easy mission. Things get way more chaotic in the harder difficulties, and a larger crew would definitely be beneficial. But I think Non and I did a pretty good job. I hope you enjoyed this video as a bit of a taster as to what to expect in this game. The difficulty is way up there, and this is still in early access, but I am enjoying it thoroughly already. Anyway, I will leave a link in the description for Gamestach's more thorough guides. And of course, don't forget to check out Non-Inspirational Gaming's channel too. This has been Jet, and as always, happy gaming.
Hey! Yes, we got it.
Congratulations. All right.